Hi everyone, thank you for joining me again. This one is about knees, so I'm going to read the affirmation first and foremost, and then if you want to choose to carry on and listen to the rest of the video you can, for the full explanation of why your knees may be hurting. If not, you can literally just play this affirmation as many times as you like to help clear the limiting belief around your knees and the way you are living your life with the beliefs that you currently have, but you can actually clear the belief system in order for your knees to not have to give you the message to change that belief system or that training of thought anymore. So here we go. I will start with the affirmation. I must accept to open myself to the world around me and accept to have to change my way of being in certain respects. I become aware of the anger I have carried and repressed for years. I must learn to go with the flow and let go of my old ways of thinking. I accept to kneel before someone or a situation, or maybe simply before life in general, in order to be able to receive help and open myself to a new world, and I have all the potential I need to accept new responsibilities. If I feel frustration and guilt because I realise I always want to be right and my desire for greater social power is insatiable, I stop and question myself about my true values in order to return to essentials and enable myself to come back to my heart instead of allowing my rational side to decide everything. I thus give myself permission to make creativity live in me, and I give power back to my intuition that knows what is good for me. From now on, I am protected by my inner authority. I now have the capacity for bouncing back in any situation. End of affirmation. So, knees and why knees are hurting. So basically, when we experience pain, it's always the body's way of messaging us and tapping into our conscious mind about what is going on in the unconscious mind. So over the years we may pick up certain belief systems, but the belief systems limit us. So with regards to knees, it kind of limits us in kind of our responsibilities and accepting new responsibilities. And what it detracts us from doing as well is taking responsibility back for ourselves, for ourselves. So basically you may be thinking about us or the group in general, but it's really coming back to me. It's coming back to what's right for me. So somewhere along the line you have picked up a limiting belief that you have to take responsibility for everyone else, care for everyone else, and forget about you. And it's really coming back to you. And part of your life responsibility should be you. But somewhere along the line, you've forgotten how to do that. So knees are also about pride. So pride, I don't want to bow down to an authority. So pride becomes before a fall, and you may have even had some falls or fallen, or your knees may have even just given way, because you feel you are basically being weighed down from responsibilities. It's kind of your responsibilities are so heavy sometimes that you just feel a little bit off balance as well, that you feel like your knee will go from underneath you, so to speak. So you feel like your knees are going to give out. So if you feel like your knees are going to give out, it does mean that you can be easily swayed, and there's nothing wrong with this. So again, it's kind of like release all judgments about all of this. There is no right or wrong, good or bad. These are programs that we've learned. They're not going to serve you. Just leave them alone, because they're not going to serve you to take them forward with you. So release all judgments of yourselves, and you will release all judgments of other people by doing that also. So that frees you from the anger as well, when we can release all judgment from ourselves. and it releases pain within the body because we're releasing anger from the body. We don't need it anymore, so the body doesn't need to prompt us in and bring that anger into the consciousness. So you'll feel, so when our knees feel like they're just going to give way, basically it's telling us that you can be a little bit easily coerced or swayed, and there's no judgment around this, but it just shows that you've just got a little bit of lack of confidence in yourself. So it's really try to work on your confidence, or recognize where your confidence may be a little bit low in yourself, to have that courage of conviction in kind of like, no, this is who I am, this is what I do, deal with it. You know, it's kind of really have that courage of conviction. Sometimes with knees comes in certain belief systems about the type of person you think you should be. From these beliefs could come in from society, from family members. So, you know, you may have a belief system that education, you know, is really important, or is king, and you may feel like, well, I'm not educated enough. So, you know, that will come in on confidence, and it's kind of like, education basically is not the same as wisdom. So it's just not the same. So, you know, you could be really, really educated, but the wisdom may not be there. So there are different forms of intelligence as well. You know, you could have somebody that may not have had the conventional sense in education, but they may be really interested in their field, and they know everything about their field. So in that way, they are really educated and intelligent in their own field, in their own right. Different forms of education, and some people are emotionally intelligent. So there's all different forms. So you may have this picture of what the perfect person should be, and you may feel like, I don't match up to that perfect person, and you will have certain airs of perfection qualities around you as well, that you will strive for perfection in the things that you do. So you'll have a fear of failure, because you'll feel like, I just can't match up, I just can never match up to this. So it's really be aware of letting go of those preconceived ideas of what perfection is, because the actual truth of it is, you're already perfect. You're already a diamond, you know, you're already a diamond. You're already perfect. All of your imperfections make you you, and that's what makes you perfect. So you're already perfect being. So sometimes we can feel failure of our biggest dreams, and the knees will just abdicate, because you're just feeling a failure. You know, you've had these dreams maybe of what you wanted to achieve or when you wanted to be, and all of a sudden you've got to a certain point in your life, and it's kind of like, well, that's not happened, and I don't feel like I'm that person, and I'm not being that person. So it's kind of, the knees will abdicate. So it will tell you when you feel like you are not matching up to what a learned expectation is, basically. So you'll feel a bit like a failure. You'll feel like a disappointment of yourself in your performances. Just being here right now in these times of the shift and ascension, and in any time, is enough. Just being. You are a being. You're not a doing. You're a being, and that is enough. That is perfection in itself. Please recognize your own worth within that. You don't have to do anything. You know, achieving, you know, what we would class as achievement can be different to different people. Sometimes society will hold a belief that a successful person is somebody with a great big house, with, you know, a brand new shiny car, or loads of money to spend, or, you know, some people would deem that as successful. Whereas success really is being comfortable in your own skin, it's being sovereign, it's being confident, in knowing that you are all that is, and you are everything. So success comes in different guises, and success, you know, I think you've made it when you've got some beautiful friends around you that care and love you, family that love you, and colleagues that respect you. To me, that is that success, that is fulfillment, because you could have the big house, you could have the big car, you could have all these things, and you could have all this stuff and still not be respected and still not be loved. And there's nothing wrong with having all those things, as long as you feel fulfilled alongside with it. So a version of success. So there will be repressed emotions as well. So the repressed emotions around a facet of work or home, and this facet, it's bothering you, you don't like it, but you also see the positive sides of it as well. But within that as well, you'll feel like, I'm afraid of betraying someone if I choose to take care of myself. So you're kind of feeling a little bit imprisoned by this training of thought as well. So it literally is, you need to take care of yourself, you need to come back to yourself. So it's kind of getting out of the head space into the heart space. The heart space and your knees are saying, come on, you need to take care of yourself now. But your headspace will be going, it'll have all the societal beliefs of, do you know what, to be a good person, to be a worthy person, I need to care for my family, I need to care for my spouse, I need to care for my work colleagues, I need to be the one that's doing this and doing that and holding all the responsibilities of everything and keeping everything together. But what ultimately is going to happen is your knees are going to buckle and you're going to fall to your knees ultimately anyway, but your pride is kind of like keeping you locked in and upright. Some point they're going to buckle. So it's always, the solution is always come back to you. The solution to every problem and equation is love. So it's come back to loving yourself a little bit more, having faith and confidence in yourself a little bit more. Caring for ourselves is our own responsibility. I know it's really, really difficult, you know, in the cases of if you are a carer for another person, you know, that is a tricky situation, and it's understandable where your needs may start to come into play if you are a carer for another person, that you feel you've got all those responsibilities on yourself. If you can, or if you are able, don't be too proud, reach out for help. Even if it's just an hour off, to give a little bit of, to do something that you can just have some space with, to breathe, to do something you love, to do something you enjoy, go on your knees, take you, to try and go for a walk, or something that you love. There are organisations that are around that can help just give you that hour off as well if you are caring for somebody. You know, the world is grateful for carers. You know, you are beautiful people and we love you, but you also need to take that time to have a little bit of love back for yourself as well. So just have more awareness about the situation and about how you feel about it. If you take that hour off, then you can release some angers that you may have about the situation, and if you're regenerating love for yourself, it also means that you're not an empty vessel to care for another human being, that you have the love to care for that human being as well. So this is, you need to receive the love in order to give it, to care. Otherwise you'll just get angry, you'll get irritated with yourself, irritated with the other person, or you'll just hold it all in, and that will cause other problems in the body as well. So a new way of being and a new way of thinking and a new way of living kind of like really has to come into play to kind of really get these knees back in shape and get them pain-free and re-energized, rejuvenized, bone matter back, synovial fluid nice and circulating around the joints again, ligaments with less inflammation. So where there's inflammation, there's anger. So you can see where the anger is coming from around the meniscus joints and those ligaments. So relieve that anger. Guilt-free. Really forgive yourself for everything that you're going through and everything that you're feeling at the moment. Really bring in forgiveness to yourself, because in that way as well you can give forgiveness to the situation, that if you are a carer, that you can give to the other person, or you know, if you are a person with the responsibilities in an organisation, again, you know, you don't have to burden yourself with everything. Try it and offload some of it if you can. You don't have to hold all the responsibility. It's just that something in your learning has basically said, well, if I take on board all these responsibilities, then, you know, it's kind of like if I'm plate juggling, then I can be successful and I can, you know, your knees are telling you something different. Okay. So this is where ego comes into play a little bit as well. So it's picking up again how others see us and our value. That basically we have to be seen as somebody successful in order to be valued by society. Doesn't really matter what anyone else thinks of you at all. What matters is how you value yourself. And you know what? It doesn't matter what job you do, what career you do, whether you do nothing, whether you do something, really doesn't matter. Your value, your beautiful value is still the same. You are still worthy. And it's recognising that, and you are worthy of taking care of yourself. You are worthy of a little bit of time off caring for another person. You are worthy of delegating some responsibilities and taking up new responsibilities, and the new responsibilities are to yourself. So break away from the prison, bring in some new life changes, bring in some new responsibilities for you, not the we, or your groups that you're involved in or anything else. Bring in those new responsibilities just solely for you. So that is the explanation of knees. It may resonate, it may not resonate, it all may resonate, and some bits may resonate. Pick whatever it is that helps bring comfort to you out of it. And if it, you know, and the rest, if it doesn't resonate, then, you know, try to leave it as well. So I hope that is helping people's knees. And hopefully bring a little bit less pain, a little bit less anger, a bit more freedom in your life. All right, so take care, and I shall talk about another body part next week. All right, you take care. Enjoy yourself, bring joy into your life as much as you can. Take care, love you all. Bye bye.